lovely friends, it's Margaret, and today we are talking about what I will be reading in August. Once again, I find myself in need of an actual, structured TBR. I have more than just the Avengers that I am doing this month. So we're going to talk about the Avengers. I'll tell you what I'm reading for the Avengers, and then I'll tell you about the other readathon reading challenge that I am participating in, which you guys probably can already guess since I said reading challenge. There will be timestamps down in below the description box. That's the word for it. There will be timestamps down there if you want to take a look at what, if you want to skip around. You don't have to watch it in order. If there's a part that interests you and a part that doesn't, go ahead. Whatever. Do what you need to do. I am, however, going to start out with what's going on for the Avengers Initiative Reading Challenge in the month of August. First off, we're watching 2 movies, as we do every month. First watch-along will be on August 7th, and that will be for Avengers 2.5, Captain America Civil War. No, I'm not bitter about that at all. Not at all. The second watch-along will be on the 21st, and that is going to be Spider-Man Homecoming. We're getting ourselves some Peter Parker. Love it. I'm ready for it. I love every single version of Spider-Man that has been on the screen. Except the one version that we don't talk about. You know who I'm talking about. You know exactly the scene I'm talking about. We don't talk about that. But all of the other ones, I'm good with. As usual, we have a group book for this month. For August, the group book is going to be The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This is about Nora. She is dead, I think, or something like that. She ends up in this midnight library, and in the midnight library you are able to relive, I guess, specific points in your life or something, and so you're able to revisit points in your life that you have regrets about and kind of see how those would play out differently. You can use that group book on any of the mission logs that you work on during the month of August. It doesn't matter if it is one released this month or not. That would be the perfect time for me to transition into telling you who we are going to be introducing to the characters that you can choose and put on your team. So we are going to be introducing Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, and Vision this time around. Those are the 3 mission logs that will be happening this month. I am going to go through them very quickly. I'll start with the 2 that I am not doing, and then I will go into the one that I am doing, because once again, I'm only doing a few this month so that I can catch up on others that I need to finish. So the prompts for Doctor Strange are: read a book with a big character arc, read a book with a good magic system, read a book that has, or a book with a character, I guess, that has a library, read a 5-star prediction, read a book with 3 or more people on the cover, read a strange or weird book, read a book about a medical/healthcare professional, read a book that features a breakup, and then the final center prompt is research whitewashing in the media. That is obviously in reference to the fact that Tilda Swinton is playing a man that should have been old. Well, it should have been an Asian man. We've got a white woman playing an Asian man, and that was maybe not the best choice on the casting director's part. As far as the group book goes, it is going to cover read a book with a big character arc, and then read a book that has a library. For Vision, we have read a book about an AI or robot, read a book with an interspecies relationship, read a book where the character has a power they don't understand, read a book with a visually appealing cover, read a book where the character has a great reserve of knowledge, read a book about changes in role/occupation, read a book with a non-human character, and then read a book with a character that works towards the good of humanity. And then the optional center prompt is create a vision board. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure how I feel about that middle prompt. I'm not sure. I guess I should tell you what their rewards are. So Vision's reward is to use a Wanda or Vision book for another board, and then Mr. Strange's reward is go back in time and attain a boss battle reward you didn't receive. Okay, so I know we came up with what prompts on Vision's board the group book fits. I don't have that handy graphic, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go off the top of my head and what I think it would fit. It's going to be visually appealing cover. Maybe character has a great reserve of knowledge. I don't know. Definitely changes in role/occupation. I would count that as the group book fulfilling, since she's changing from life to death. And then the final one that we have is Ant-Man. So for Ant-Man, read a book where a character has magical attire, read a book under 300 pages, read a book with an untraditional story structure, read a book that has a character with an animal companion, read a book with the letters A, N, and T on the cover, read a book with a parent-child relationship, read a book about someone who is lost, and read a book with a heist. And then when you complete that, the action prompts is to research prison abolition. And then for Ant-Man, his superpower is to shrink a board. You can either remove the top or the bottom row. So we're obviously going to be starting out with the group book for Ant-Man. This covers read a book under 300 pages and read a book about someone who is lost. The next book that I am going to be reading, I'm going real nice on myself for this because I needed to read a lot of books for this board. I am going to be reading Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 2. This is the second volume in Fullmetal Alchemist. I'm trying to reread all of them because I love the series and it's been a long time. But this is going to cover read a book with where someone has magical attire. Said magical attire is in fact on the cover of the book, and then read a book with non-traditional story structure. I am going to go with the fact that manga is a backwards, so that's what we're going to do. Then to read a book where the cover has the letters A, N, and T on the cover, I am going to be reading Captain America, The Winter Soldier, the complete edition. The next book that I will be reading to complete something on his board is going to be Six of Crows, because it has a heist in it. Yes, I understand I was going to use this on a previous board, but I would like to reread this ASAP, so please. I may switch it out for Heist Society, depending on which, but I wanted a book that was going to have quite a few pages, so I went ahead with a book that had quite a few pages. To cover read a book with an animal companion, we grabbed this real quick, but I know that there are a couple of animal companions in this series, if none other Hayate counts, but Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 3. I believe Al is always picking up animals, and then I don't know who it is that owns the dog, but someone owns a dog that basically is a part of Mustangs, like he's basically a member of Mustang's team. The final one that's supposed to be about a parent-child relationship, I am going to be reading Nemesis Games by James S.A. Corey. If this follows the 5th season the way I think it does, I'm pretty sure that this involves a parent-child relationship because I know one of the crew members has a child, and that, well, 2 of them actually do, but this specific book is about the relationship between that parent and their child. So, that's their entire, what's the word? That's their entire, storyline, or part of their storyline, or a huge part of their storyline, and they do have a viewpoint in this book, so I am assuming that that storyline also carries into this book, because I know the fact that they have a child does. The next Avenger that I am going to be trying to finish off, because I'm going to need their power to complete the next board, is Wanda. I've got 2 out of the 3 I need to read. I may rearrange a little bit on hers, but for sure I'm going to be reading Inspired by Rachel Held Evans. This is the final book that I need to read to get Wanda on my team, and I am going to need to use her power because, number one, I should stop saving powers. That just feels like the smart thing to do. I'm not taking chances. And then once I finish Wanda, I will be able to also finish Hawkeye's board. We're going to be working on Hawkeye's board as well this week. This month. I guess that's what this is. This is a month. Obviously, we've checked off some of the prompts on this board thanks to Legend Born when I read that back in January, because the way I work is when I start the group book, since it fits prompts on those boards, I always start those boards. That's when I start them, is when I start that group book if I finish it in the month. So far, I haven't not finished a group book. The next book I'm going to be reading is Hawkeye, My Life as a Weapon. Don't remember the artist or the author, I apologize, but they are on the cover right now. That's going to fit purple cover. I'm also going to be using El Defo by C.C. Bell to fulfill the prompt to read a book about a deaf or hard of hearing character. I'm also going to be reading Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 4 to fulfill the prompt of read a comic book. So another one I'm going to be reading is How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. This is going to count for, wait for it, I'm going to use Wanda's power to take the book with an arrow on the cover prompt. And I'm going to change it to a book with a sword on the cover because I have no books with arrows on the cover. They all have swords. I don't understand how every single fantasy book I own has a sword. No arrows. There are no arrows involved. The final book is to read an underhyped book. I am going to be reading The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchison because this book is underhyped, and I also want to finish the series, and I have waited so long, I feel like I just need to start from the beginning. Eventually, I'm going to stop rereading the first book and actually get to book 3 and 4, or no, 2 and 3, and finally book 4. I just realized I told you nothing about what any of these are about. Do I care? No, not really. With all of the Avengers stuff covered, it is now time to talk about what I will be reading for the Fullmetal Reading Challenge. So I am hopefully completed with July, and we're going on to August. In theory, I will not need to be punished, but if I do need to be punished, I already had a friend tell me what book to read this month, so that punishment is covered, because if I don't finish all of my July books, the punishment is to have a friend, mutual, or pet pick one of your books. Like, just anyone who is not you can pick what book you're going to read. That already happened. I was already like, what book should I read? And they, for this prompt, and they're like, read this book. This time, we are trying to build a transmutation circle, which is the next step. We gather the ingredients, now we're going to do the transmutation circle, and I guess we're gonna try and we're gonna make ourselves a philosopher's stone in the next one. For this one, each prompt has something to do with a different part of the transmutation circle. The first prompt is comprehension, and that is to read a nonfiction or historical fiction book. I'm going to be reading Inspired by Rachel Held Evans. The next prompt is deconstruction, and that is to read a book with a war plot or a subplot. Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 2 will be sufficing for that, because every like the entire thing is that there is war involved. Like this is the entire reason that they're literally in the army. The next prompt is reconstruction, and that is start a series or read a standalone. For that, I am going to be doing The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Obviously, I have to read this one, so at least that prompt will be done. Prompt number 4 is going to be circle and triangle, and that is to read a book with an elemental theme. I'm going to be reading Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 3, because some of these alchemists use the elements. Ta-da! Is that the easy way out? Yes. Am I still going to do it? Also yes. The next one is Alchemical Runes, and that is to read a book with runes or artistic symbols on the cover. I decided to use Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo to go ahead and fulfill that, because some of these are artistic symbols. Some of them are more symbolic or symbols than others, but all of these symbolize something about the plot. And then the final prompt is chalk, read a book with white lettering for the title. We may have to rethink some things. So we're going to reevaluate a couple of things here, because that doesn't have, it's got to be in the title. So we'll substitute, I was originally going to do The King of Elfheim, but we'll do The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchison, because there are white letters in the title of this book. So those are all of the books that I will be reading in the month of August. Let me know in the comments, what is something that you are planning on reading in the month of August? What is on your TBR? Just give me a book that you feel like reading, that you want to read. Any of that stuff would be fantastic. If you are not feeling chatty, but you want to let me know that you watched to the end of the video, go ahead and just leave the ant emoji in the comments for Ant-Man. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoyed this video, there will be other videos over here that you may also enjoy. Go ahead and check some of those out. And if you're new and you enjoyed those videos and you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!